So we will get started. I would like to call this regular Board of Finance meeting to order for January 20th, 2021. If we could all please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance.
The flag
United States of America,
To the republic.
to the republic which stands
one
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I thought I heard a Teddy voice there.
He's in.
Yeah, I've been having some problems.
Oh, okay. All right, moving on to roll call. Tom Sinkowitz, Don Cavella.
Here.
All right, Travis Irons,
Present.
Ted Dumaine,
Yeah,
Gary Stallboyne,
Yeah.
Matt Radin.
Here.
All right. All right, Matt, you do have voting rights for this meeting.
I accept.
Okay, very good. Next item is acceptance of the minutes from the January 14th, 2021 meeting. I did see an email earlier from Dodie. She had sent them out. I don't know if everyone had a chance to look at them, but they have been sent out and posted.
If everybody's looked at them, I'll move that we approve them.
second,
Okay. I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
aye,
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions?
I will abstain only because I haven't had a chance to review the minutes as of yet.
Okay, yeah. One abstention. Motion carries to accept the minutes. All right, first item under new business is to fill vacancy. So as I had mentioned last month to the board members, Kim Medlin had to send in her letter of resignation for relocating. She relocated to the town of Canterbury. So we have had a vacancy now on the board that had to be filled by a Republican. And fortunately, there has been one letter of interest that I have received, and I also confirmed was sent into the town clerk. And that was from a Mr. Dean Gorman, who is with us this evening on the meeting. Dean, welcome.
Yep.
So at this time, what I would like to do is to open the floor for nominations to fill this position.
I'll nominate Dean.
Okay. Got a nomination from Don for Dean.
I'll second it.
Okay. Are there any other nominations on the floor? Okay, hearing none, I will move that we close nominations.
Take that motion.
Second.
Okay. And so now with only having one nomination, I still would like to get a count from the board, a vote. So with the nomination for Dean Gorman to fill our Republican full member position on the Board of Finance, do we have a motion?
Just point of information, could we, Mr. Chair, could we hear a little about Mr. Gorman from Mr. Gorman, just his interests and what he feels like he would like to bring to the board? I understand there's just one nominee, but I think it would still be nice to have some introduction.
Mm-hmm. That is fine. So I can turn it over to Mr. Gorman.
Okay. Well, I've been a resident in the town of Plainfield for 29 years, raised all my kids here. Prior to moving to Plainfield, I lived in the town of Canterbury. I did serve on the Zoning Board of Appeals while I was in Canterbury. I have a background in business extensively. Several months ago, I started attending the Republican town meetings, Republican town committee meetings while they were still being held in person. A few months ago, Art Gagney approached me asking if I'd be interested in getting more involved. And ironically, one of the positions of interest to me at that time, not knowing the potential, was Board of Finance. So he approached me about it. I gave it a great shot, and I feel like this is a great way for me to contribute to my town. I like the direction it's going, the fiscal responsibility that's I come about last years, and I'm headed in the right direction. I want to be part of that.
All right, do any members have any questions for Dean?
Questions, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Dean.
Okay. So do we have a,
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
okay? Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of appointing Dean Gorman to the full member position on the Board of Finance signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Dean, thank you and welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome
Congratulations.
aboard, Dean.
Thank you.
Just remember for some housekeeping, we sometimes do, if there's a pending issue that is time sensitive for the Board of Finance, we sometimes have to call a special meeting to order, which can literally happen like within a week's time from like today. Doesn't usually, but point is that you'll want to, as soon as possible, call the town clerk's office and schedule a time to go down there, make sure you have paperwork filled out and get sworn in. So, all right. Moving on to our next item, 2, discuss and approve 2021 meeting schedule. So we're just doing this in the nick of time because this month was our last approved meeting. And members might remember this had been sent out a while back in December. So hopefully everyone had dug it up in their archives and has looked at it. Pretty straightforward as far as keeping our current schedule, and still has the time of 6:30. If there was discussion or anything, any comments anyone wanted to make as far as changing, now would be the time to do it. Otherwise, we would just continue with our 6:30 on the third Wednesday of every month for the year through January 2022. So any comments, questions from the members?
I'm fine with it.
You didn't
Okay.
want to meet 3 times a month, Mr. Chair?
Well, maybe during budget season.
If you're lucky.
Yeah,
I don't see any issue with the calendar as presented.
okay.
I'm
So
good.
Entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Matt, all right. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Okay, opposed? Motion carries. Next item, to discuss and approve the 2021 budget meeting schedule. One note I will make on that was sent out around the same time as the regular meeting schedule. I had updated the dates, put it together, and I had sent it to Kelly. She had taken a look at it and seemed to be pretty good as far as falling in our usual timeframes as far as deadlines and meetings. One update I have gotten since I put this together was from the Board of Ed. I did attend their meeting virtually last week, and they are having their budget workshop on Saturday, February 6th, 8:30. And from what I understand, it'll be both virtual, be able to, watch it virtually if you so choose, but also if you RSVP, they will actually be in person up at the middle school. So that option will still, so it won't be 100% virtual. There will be some in person, but as always, I do encourage the board members to kind of consider that to really be the start and to really try to attend that part of the budget season, because as we know, Board of Ed, of course, has the biggest chunk of the budget. So I think it's important to hear the administrators, our superintendent, and the Board of Ed members discuss, ask questions, show concerns. It's important for us to hear that in the very beginning and certainly start working on areas that we believe maybe they need to address, and try to do that sooner rather than later, because as we know, once we hit crunch time in the budget season, everything starts to happen very fast, and nobody wants to meet more than we have to, but we'll do what needs to be done, obviously, to get through the season and be fiscally responsible. So everyone can just note that is the information that was to be determined at the top there. But otherwise, the rest of the dates still stand. Only other thing was that keep in mind, I'll be, of course, in regular communication as I am with Kevin about what are the restrictions at. Are we going backwards? Are we going forwards? When it comes to the different phases of COVID restrictions, but it's really going to be dependent on that, just like last year, as far as are we going to be doing this in person, as we traditionally do, or are we going to do it virtually? As far as doing it virtually, we should be able to pretty much stick with this calendar. We just got to make sure, obviously, we're in compliance, both with restrictions, but also with freedom of information, and that we're not limiting opportunity from the public. Obviously, the public needs every opportunity, as we stipulate on this calendar, for their input for the budget. So I'm hoping that a majority of it can be in person, but we will have to see.
Question, Mr. Chair, and perhaps our first selectman might have an answer for this as well. I believe that Governor Lamont's one of his declarations of emergency either is set to expire in February, or there was some provisions of it which were set to expire in February. Does that have any bearing on whether or not we are permitted to carry out our budget ratification online through like our Zoom meetings and such?
We're still waiting for clarification from the state of Connecticut on that. Once I get that answer, I'll share that with you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. So, any other comments, questions from the members regarding the budget calendar?
How do I get a copy of that?
Dean, I can forward you a copy of that.
Yeah, whatever you need for backup paperwork, Dean, just give a call over to Kelly. She can help you out with that.
All
Or Tom would have as well.
Mm-hmm.
Tom, Mr. Chair, who would we be reaching out to as far as RSVP for the Board of Ed budget workshop on February 6th? Would that be contacting the superintendent directly?
Yeah, definitely make sure Christy's on the email. I don't know if she's actually going to physically be at that particular meeting, but anyway, she still needs to be obviously in the loop of who to be expecting. So, yeah, so definitely reach out to Ken and Christy and let them know.
Okay. I suppose we could have posed the question to Mr. Broughton. He was here. He's here too.
Yep.
That's both Ken and Christy. So.
Okay. Is there a motion to accept this schedule?
I'll make that motion.
I'll
Second.
second.
All right. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of accepting the 2021 budget meeting schedule signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, moving on to next, item 4, discuss and review 2020-2021 fiscal year. Keeping in mind that we are considering the last 2 months because we were unable to get a quorum in December. So we didn't have our December meeting and weren't able to go over the usual items there. So any updates from the past 2 months that Kelly would like to mention to us, I would like to present the opportunity. Kelly, you there?
She's muted.
She's on.
Sorry,
mute.
I was on. Yeah, I was on mute. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. The first thing I'd like to mention is we received our FEMA payment for COVID. Last time we tried to draw down more funds than what was acceptable, so we got $63,167 back. 50,000 went to the fund balance, 9,000 went to the school refunds account for their expenditures. So that's what we're looking at for FEMA. We received our Sterling payment of 307,000 for tuition out of town in the month of December. Do you want me to just do the revenue for January too at the same time,
That's fine.
Tom? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay. And then we also received Town Aid Road. We were waiting on, I didn't know when we received the Town Aid Road funding. Last year, we didn't receive it until I want to say the month of May. So we received the other portion of Town Aid Road. So we budgeted 288,000 and to date we got 290,000. We received payment from Mashantucket Pequot Fund. So we budgeted 82,000, received 27,000. What else? The tuition out of state. I wanted to point building permits. We budgeted 104,000 and to date we have 88,000. 15,000 left to collect, which I guess that department is really busy lately. So I don't see that as a problem to collect for year end. What else? You could see that their property tax revenue looks aligned. That's about it for revenue. I don't know if you guys see anything that you want to question
Yeah, I have some,
about any revenue. Yep.
Kelly.
Yeah.
Planning and zoning in December, you had
Yep.
23.6% left.
Yep.
In January, you got 33 now.
Yep. So what happened with that, planning and zoning, they collect permits and a portion of those funds have to go to the state of Connecticut. So they'll take the money in and then they'll end up cutting back to the state of Connecticut what's due to the state. So that's the reduction there. So in December was 19,000 and then right now if you look at it in January it's 16. So it went down because you have to cut money back to the state of Connecticut.
And one other question, have the closings been
Yep.
on iPark lots yet?
No.
No, there's deposits,
That's what the 8 grand is.
right, Kevin? Right now, 4,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4,000 payments. Yes.
The way the con,
And then you'll see other local revenue is 210,000. That represents part of the 50,000 I said returning to the fund balance. Our next education cost share payment, you're going to see months. So I should be seeing right now. I can say the police special. It's called police other duty revenue. Right now, that's about 30,000 collected.
Kelly, I think you cut out a little
We
bit
budgeted 55.
when you were talking about the education cost share.
Oh, sorry. Oh, okay. Sorry. The education cost share, we're going to receive our next payment, usually on average next week. So by the end of January, I should receive another payment for education cost share. So that should be roughly another 3 million. Let's see. Yeah. Did you hear me about police special duty last time? Or did I cut out?
30,000.
Yeah, yes. So you heard me. Okay, good. All right. Any other questions regarding revenue that you guys want to discuss? That's pretty much the points. Okay. Do you want me to go into expenditures?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. So in the expenditure portion, I wanted to know under the finance department, I have audit of 43,000. We're budgeted 30,000. That's going to be corrected. There's a $20,000 invoice in there from Markham, which has to be split with the school. That wasn't split yet. So, that'll be adjusted. So there'll be 33,000 in there for a budget of 30,000. Excuse me? What?
No, you saved me the question.
Oh, okay, good. So then the next page I wanted to just know, town clerk. So I was looking in the town clerk salaries today, and there is money from the state of Connecticut for the election, and the town clerk didn't absorb all the funds. She had to hire another person to do all the absentee ballots. That wasn't absorbed all there. So we're able to use some of that fund into the registrar's office, which they're going to be able to purchase 2 new computers with. So that, having funds left over for the registrars. So you're going to see money being moved for that to the registrar's supply line item. You'll see it next month.
Kelly, when it comes to
let's
the two new positions that we got, the rec director and the
Yep.
grant writer, how much in salary for both those
Yes.
positions?
Right now, they're both both those positions are budgeted at 55,000. We're already halfway through the year, so I think your line item should be fine. For
Okay.
recreation director, we budgeted 55, and I want to say the grant writer was budgeted 55 too. So
Yeah,
nothing
that's
for the
not-
grant writer was taking out for salaries, so you're good. And then recreation right now was part-time, so you'll be good.
Mhm.
Let's see. General insurance and workers' comp insurance right now, you have 20% and 27%. Those represent our last quarter that I have to pay for general lap policy and our workers' comp policy. So those are 2 items that are left. Town reval, it's under purchase services. Town valuation, I just paid that invoice today. Well, today I coded it. So you're going to see 32,542. That's what we budgeted, and we had to pay. NECOG is the agency that provides the service to us. Police cars under capital expenditures. The lease payment, that's a lease payment of 20,465. You'll see that in February. Vehicle purchases for the police under capital expenditures. That is actually a bid opening we're going to be having tomorrow for the purchase of the 2 new police cars. And the debt interest, that's going to be paid by the end of January. You can see debt interest, I think it's the second to last page. There's balances of 68,000, 100,000, and 832, 8,325. That'll be paid at the end of January.
Under the capital,
So that'll bring up the debt payments.
under the capital expenses for the
Yep.
police cars, you said there were going to be 2 cars that we're looking at?
Yes,
All right. Does that mean that we're going to be,
yes.
does that mean that that line's going to be receiving a transfer? Because there's only 20,000
Well,
in there right now?
listen, yeah, that 20,465 is a lease payment.
Okay.
4 line items down from there. It's called vehicles purchased fiscal year 20. That is the 2 new police cars and it's 64,000 budgeted.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
I was just curious about the change in the unemployment.
Unemployment,
Yeah, it went from,
yes. Yeah, so what happened in last audit for fiscal year 2020, I noticed we were posted in fiscal year 2021 some unemployment invoices that pertain to the prior year. So I was able to accrue them. So I was able to put those back into fiscal year 2020. So that's the reduction that you see. It was like for the month of June of 2020.
Kelly, this is Art Gagnon. Is that a reduction or is that an increase?
In unemployment?
Yeah.
In the unemployment, that was a reduction from the prior statement.
Okay. Because it
Yeah,
went
it's a
up
reduction.
67% instead of 47.
Yeah, so I reduced that. So in the month of, I'm looking on my December statement, unemployment, oh, sorry. So unemployment in December was 8,000 and now we have it at 5,000 because there was a $3,000 invoice for June. I was able to post it back because I accrued it.
I have different figures on it for some reason. It says available 10,852.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So if
Okay.
you did a 16,000 minus the 5,000, it'll give you the 10,000. So the available balance, it got big, it grew, correct? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, that's an increase.
Yeah.
It gained
So-
money instead of lost it.
No, well,
Available
we
the
gained
month
more money to spend, I guess I want to say.
available the month before
Mhm.
was 8,000 something.
The monthly
It was 47% than all last
yes, yes. And now, yeah, so prior month was, so unemployment was like 8,000, correct?
Looks like
Available balance. So now it's 10,000 because I was able to reduce the expenditure. I reduced the expenditure by 3,000. So it increased your available balance to 10,000 versus 7.
okay, increase. To me, that's an increase,
Yes,
not a decrease. Sorry, that's just the wording, I guess.
No, it's a decrease. I can show you tomorrow. Yeah, I can.
Okay.
Yeah, I can show you. Yeah.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
Hey, while I'm on, can I ask you 2 more questions?
Yeah.
Computer, we're down 19%. Is that going to be an issue?
I don't know. Kevin, can you speak to that?
It could be. I'm still doing some research on where we're going to be able to find exactly all the line items for computer. That issue will change next year because we're actually breaking up the budget for computer line items into each department, so it's easier to see. Because this basically is, I guess, instead of like a black hole, it's there and it's encompassing every department. So I'm gonna have to get from Kyle exactly where things have been expended to and what's actually left for this year.
Okay. My only other question was town building repairs is down 12%. Is that going to be an issue?
Is there any more projects, Kevin, coming out of there? Not that I know of.
No, I don't. I think we'll be okay. It's just a matter of we've done a lot of little things to, around the building and throughout the town itself, and most of those things come out of the town building repair. So I think we'll be okay. We don't have any other major projects. We talked about the animal control, some of the things that have to be fixed over there, but we'll be able to find monies for the animal control so they can take care of that there. So I think we'll be fine.
Thank you.
Kevin, the boarding up of the annex, where did the money come for funding that?
All right, Kelly, where we actually take that? Was that it was only $1,300. I can't remember what exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably town hall repairs.
Usual
I bet it's town building repairs.
town building.
Town building repairs. Yeah. Okay.
And we don't have any other major projects here, and that's why we were able to take it from there.
Any updates on the sidewalk project?
Waiting for the state of Connecticut to get back.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I have a question for the first selectman.
Yep.
Regarding the synthetic ice rink and fireworks, two events which seem to me unlikely to be deployed this fiscal year. And there's probably several other smaller line items like that. Are those budget lines that we can be anticipating transfers out of, or are we looking to hold those at zero and wait till the end of the year?
I'd like to hold those to the end of the year. I know we're not gonna be able to do the fireworks unless, there is no event really planned for anything outside right now, so absolutely not the fireworks. We might want to hold on to the synthetic ice rink until last second, just in case there is an opportunity to purchase that, and that way it's there when we get out of the COVID world that we're in right now. But yeah, I think we did talk about this before. We talked about holding off as long as possible on those, but I'm sure the fireworks are not going to be expended for this fiscal year.
Yeah, we also talked about next month, we're going to plan for doing some line item transfers. We'll have that on the agenda.
Yes, I asked Kelly today to start putting those together, so we'll have them ready for you. If you wanted a couple more for the updates, I have been in contact with gentleman who's going to be booking our hazardous waste day. So that is coming up. I will, as soon as it's actually booked, because you have to go through the state of Connecticut for that as well. So as soon as it's booked, we will announce that as well. And I'm also in negotiation for the new contract coming up for bulky waste with Willimantic Waste.
Does the bulky waste line actually look like we'll be coming in under by the end of the year, or?
It looks like it's on target.
Okay.
Do you get any other quotes for bulky waste?
From where?
Other companies, possible, I'm not sure. Sterling Services or.
They don't have facilities to hold it.
I'm not.
We're kind of pigeonholed in an area. For now, there's other plans later on.
Kelly, was there any update in the past week from the auditor in regards to what they were still waiting on from the state?
Well, the auditor, he emailed me something at the end of the day today. I didn't get a chance to look at it, but he hasn't said about that. Yeah. I haven't
Yeah, if you
heard.
can, assuming you get something between like now and the next meeting, if you can forward anything to the board members, just if there is an update that he receives.
Okay.
And then on that same note too, from the audit, we had talked a little bit about the fund balance policy. And I think maybe I'll look at the February agenda. Maybe we'll consider putting that on and having some discussion on that, basically to verify what the, again, what's the percentage at, and kind of just discussing it for any ideas if any members have any. So as we discussed a little bit during the audit presentation, should we stay as is? Should it be adjusted? And any other information?
Okay.
All right. Any other questions or comments from the members on the fiscal year budget statements?
I have one question. Under economic development, you have 55,000 allocated for a salary, but we haven't used anything. Will that be adjusted by the end of the year because the year is half over?
We just hired Yeah, we just hired someone, grant writer / economic development.
Okay.
He just started this past Tuesday, so there'll be some funds out of there for
Okay.
this year.
But there should be a surplus from that department at the end of the year.
Correct. Yep.
Cool.
Depending upon how much we might line item transfer out of.
All right, any other questions, comments? No? Okay, moving on to item 5, discuss and review Board of Education financial report. So I had made sure that that was forwarded to the board members both last month and then most recently this past week when I finally got it from Ron Luce here. And we do have Mr. Broughton with us still. So if there is anything, again, that anybody would maybe like to follow up on, perhaps he could enlighten us on it or help with us and follow up on anything. My only question actually, Mike, was what was the last update on the DACO contract? I know Ken had told us how that was, he was going to be looking into that because that was due for renew, right?
Yeah, I think we both have the same update on that, which is no update thus far on it.
Okay.
Still looking. I believe they were accepting open for bids.
Open for bids, yeah.
So the only, I guess this isn't a specific line item on that report, but just something to keep in mind as we start to roll into the second half of this fiscal year. At the close of the last fiscal year, I believe we saw the ECS payment actually come in under what we had anticipated. And after a little bit of digging on the Board of Ed Finance side, I think the shortfall was attributed to the state recalculating what the actual need for the funds were, or what we had had to use in services, either along the lines of special education, adult education, or other placements from the district. I don't want to put you on the spot, Mr. Broughton, but are you aware of any kind of tracking or adjustment that might have been made on the Board of Ed side that could be giving us a heads up if that looks to be the case again after almost a full year of a very different style of learning for students?
To your point, with it being a very different style, I don't think we've received any official tracking or estimates on what it's going to be, but me personally, I wouldn't be surprised. Which
Okay.
I think is pretty standard across the board, as we've got other members of the Board of Selectmen on here as well, that we can certainly expect to see any funding coming from the state change significantly.
All right, thank you. Yeah, just checking on my notes here, I think it was either the July or the August meeting. Could have been June, but either way, it was a summer meeting where we had, it was Mr. Lucier who explained that there would be great difficulty in trying to track it just because there were just so many variables that the state could point to that could change in terms of services rendered within the district for outplacements or similar things. So just wanted to make sure that's somewhat still on the radar after another, at that point, it'll be about a year of some meaningful differences in the way the school day is rolled out for students on all levels. So maybe that's something to keep in the back of our minds, how much that payment could change. Also with whatever the revenue situation ends up being in Hartford.
No, it is a very good point, and not even in the back of our minds. It's in the forefront of a lot of our minds. So very good point.
I had a question on the early childhood center, what the issues were with the 107% increase from the reconciled budget.
I'm sorry, I don't have the report that you guys are looking at in front of me at the moment, but I can tell you that there has been changes with the way that the schools were laid out. That may be what it's part of, with pre-K being at the ECC building, perhaps being moved from Shepherd Hill to ECC. Is that what the difference is that we're looking at there?
It's 252,000 versus 1920, 235 was the, then it went up to 487. It says increase of deducts of 252, 463, which was 107.74% increase. I was just curious how to read that.
No, it's a good point. Once I dig up the actual report that you guys are referring to, I can get clear. We, the board, could get clarification over to you.
Kevin, has there been any talk regarding the solar panel project in recent times? I know we were talking about that quite a bit in August and September. And I know we had kind of reached a consensus that I think at the time, especially during these COVID times, it was probably a good idea to kind of take a step back and reassess that whole project. I'm just curious if there's been any discussions recently.
None.
No? Okay. Is that going to be a goal for at some point this year to want to revisit that? Because if there are going to be like any upcoming meetings, certainly myself or maybe other representatives from the Board of Finance definitely would like to, get updates on that, because it is a financial commitment.
Could I get a copy of the contract?
Sure. Keith Shealy is just joining us now, but I will. I'll talk to you about that offline.
Okay.
See what you're. I don't have the same report as you for that.
I mean, I had that plus another 100 and some pages. I wasn't trying to
Oh,
print
yeah.
All right. Any other questions or comments from the board members on the Board of Ed financial report? No? Okay. Moving on to citizens participation. I have not received any questions or inquiries regarding the meeting. I don't know if we have any citizens on or not.
Right now, no.
Okay. The only one thing I did just want to make a note of is don't forget that the annual meeting has been set for approving the town's annual report for January 28th, 6:30. So need to get a quorum, and like to see all the Board of Finance members make that meeting. So please make sure you have that down if not already.
The copies have already been bound and delivered, so they are copies here at the town hall for you. We also have the link online to both Facebook and also to the town website for anybody that wants to be able to access that information online.
And Kevin, for the copies that are physically available at the town hall, the town hall's open, we can go in and grab a copy, or do we have to make an arrangement?
You can come in, it's been open, so just, if you do want to give a call ahead of time, that's fine too, but there's copies available in Kelly's office. If it's off hours, here on Fridays anyway, so if you want to give a call,
The town clerk has a few and I have some too. We both have them.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, and if there's nothing else under citizen participation, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. And the discussion, hearing none, all those in favor
Only
signify
a
by saying- Oh,
point of order, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mr. Gorman. I think the motion would have to come from a voting member tonight.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize that.
Sorry.
good try.
Yeah.
I'll move we adjourn.
Second.
All right. Yep. Thank you.
Before you go,
Welcome
Yeah.
aboard, Dean.
before you go, I wanted to show you some new equipment we've just acquired to help us with COVID.
Boy, who'd you get to
God.
demo it?
So
That
this
you?
this was Sarah. Sarah found this upstairs, and we were looking for some other materials. And they said, "Well, there might be a little Tyvek suit upstairs." And sure enough, there you go. That'll keep you safe.
Hey, if we got extra money floating around, we can get enough of those to hold the all the town budget meetings, and everyone can show up in person.
Well, let me tell you something. If someone saw that, and they're not going to walk into the town hall, they're going to turn around because they'll think so bad. That's actually, we were trying to find a suit because the fogger machine we have has an issue with the chemical that we use in the fogger, and we found it says like a bleaching agent. So on any cloth material that we have, if it misses out and touches down in the cloth, it leaves a little, bleach residue behind, and so therefore it's bleaching items. So she found there's so much on her clothes that's why we wanted to find something to keep her safe as well. So
Anyway,
anyway,
suggest if the Google Maps truck was scheduled to drive by the town hall, you get one for everybody. You can all stand outside of it and wave, so that image gets immortalized for a while.
oh boy. All right, well, good night, everybody.
All
Good
right.
night.
Right.
Good night, Uncle Ted.
Good night. Did you vote on that adjournment?
Oh, that's a good point, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, we were kind of there, and yeah. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
All right. All right. Any opposed? We're adjourned at 7:18.
Okay, good night, Matt.
Good night, Uncle Ted.